Well, the royal accounts are out, and hashtag abolish the monarchy is trending on Twitter. Royal spending is up 5%, hardly surprising in a year that included the funeral of a queen and the ascension of a king. But boy, it's got a few Republicans frothing at the mouth. They're right to rage though. The British government seems determined to re-establish Dickensian levels of poverty. And if there's a way to avoid that doesn't involve armed insurrection, well, it is surely, by the principles of the Magna Carta, still part of the monarchy's constitutional responsibility to seek it, to use its power, whatever that may be now, to safeguard the welfare of the common people against the robber barons. And instead, the royal family are just keeping calm and carrying on as if it's 1950.
Or 1450.
Notwithstanding Prince William's presumably genuine interest in ending homelessness and his oddly paltry £3 million seed money for that vast project. Nice start, £10 per homeless person. It's almost like throwing coins from your carriage. Maybe that's what he should have done in Scotland recently. It might have pulled better crowds. Yes, anyway, notwithstanding all of that, the only royal evidently taking that actively protective responsibility for the security of the British people seriously is Prince Harry. And he's had to leave the firm to do it. To anyone not seduced and hornswoggled by the tabloid media, Harry's mission is obvious, inspiring, and nerve-wracking. Raised to be the other prince, the spare, mercilessly mocked since childhood by powerful entities that shape public opinion and behaviour, still expected to behave himself with all the discreet grace that extreme privilege obliges, even as those same powerful entities scaled up to squash, or do their best to squash, his every initiative. Harry was born to this role. I've said it before, he is his mother's son. Ridding the British monarchy of its hidebound, archaic, hierarchical hypocrisy is his passion, his maternal inheritance, his life's work. And what a time for it. Western civilization, of which, remember, the British royal family is a carrier institution, is in turmoil, threatened by climate catastrophe, pandemic disruption, military escalations, supply system failures, economic collapse, and ideological crisis. Overdeveloped nations are crumbling and splitting down the middle. The French are rioting. The US is battling a ruthless capitalist theocracy currently fronted by a grotesque cartoon supervillain. And the UK is reduced to reenacting empty rituals of a lost empire while its people writhe in the grip of a predatory oligarchy. That dragon extorting from the villagers? St. George never killed it after all. As democracy struggles to evolve fast enough to meet the rapid social changes wrought by the internet, central power structures come under existential threat. Britain's central power remains the crown, the mystical embodiment of the state in one sanctified person. But it's been reduced in the public eye to a family of messy puppets utterly beholden to the far more sinister entities that actually run the state. And make no mistake, the Tory government is sinister enough, but in the UK, no one outguns the media. The Brits are far from the only nation to have critically underestimated how fundamentally a healthy democracy depends on an honest and efficient communications system, and how rapidly decentralised social comms and a profit-driven, unaccountable media industry can poison and distort civic process. If only there was someone, a hero, a king even, although a prince would do just as well, with the strength and statesmanship to lead a popular movement. Someone to help the people wrest back the power of government from the oligarchs. Someone to encourage and enable them to implement the only sane intervention that could solve this hyper-capitalist crisis, which is to tax big business and pay everyone a universal basic income. But I tell you what, this 5-year plan of William's is one hell of a litmus test. For a start, ending homelessness is a massive call. Homelessness is a systemic issue caused by the natural processes of capitalist predation, aka good business. Capitalist economies rely on the presence of poverty to function, so the more petty compensations you put in place, the more you entrench the problems. This is not to say that money shouldn't be put towards actually housing people, and the Finnish system may well work in the UK, I certainly hope so, But Finland, with a population of 5.5 million, took 23 years to get homeless numbers down from 17,000 to under 1,000, and it cost them hundreds of millions of euros. Brilliant effort, bravo Finland. Let's hope William can stay focused for decades and find a shipload more cash. Meanwhile, the monarchy hasn't looked this cowed in centuries. After an awkward and remarkably joyless coronation, see my video Keep Calm and Carry On, the royals appear to be trapped in a potentially deadly cat-and-mouse game with the commercial media, embarking on desperately competitive house-based campaigns for popular approval, in which their various PR departments leak against each other and everyone makes up crap about Harry and Meghan. Despite the fancy protocols and designer clothes, it seems kind of sordid. Perhaps fraternal reconciliation and a thorough overhaul of the firm are not forever out of the question, but I dread to think of some dire future economic crisis, a schism wherein William is aligned with the unyielding establishment, while Harry, with a track record of defending the people's interests in court and holding deceitful corporations to account, is reluctantly propelled by a growing chorus of voices echoed online. #King Harry. Just as well for Harry then that he's also won the loyalty of the British military.